Long ago, when the world was bright and full of stories, an evil wizard gained the power to touch the face of God. Narrativa, goddess of stories and weaver of our world, banished him to the void, but not before he stole a piece of her divine essence. With this newfound power, the wizard lay a dread curse upon all the world, the Glyph Purge, which struck from the minds of all mortals the knowledge of how to read and write. Now, all that stand between the Isle of Meotia and an age of endless ignorance are the bards, who tell stories of distant lands, exotic creatures, and brave heroes. This is one such tale.
Hello and welcome to Challenge Rating Zero, the latest and greatest Dungeons & Dragons podcast to hit the internet airwaves. I am Sam, your Dungeon Master, and I am joined as always by my longtime friends and adventuring companions.
Hello, I'm Brian, and I play Hektor the Gatekeeper.
Hi, I'm Beth, and I play Rilla Longshadow.
Hey guys, I'm Alex, and I play Ruger Firehide.
And last but not least, we have the man who calls himself Michael, but who we call Parker. Michael Parker playing the Druid Zurabak. Say hi, Parker.
Hi, Parker.
Fantastic. We are joined once more for a tale of epic fantasy. Shit got pretty crazy last time.
I rode a dinosaur.
You did ride a dinosaur, which is not something, you get to do very often, even in Dungeons & Dragons,
I
so
outran a dinosaur, so I win.
You did outrun a dinosaur. Those are the rules. Rilla did win, because it was a race.
Wow.
You didn't know that at the time, but you lost.
So
It's
shit
always
all
a
over
race.
my parade. Okay.
Yeah, stuff got a little wild. In fact, when last we left our heroes, Hektor, Rilla, Zurabak, and the lawman Ruger Firehide finally fought their way free from the clutches of the Knights of the Pyre and the swiftly crumbling remnants of Skullsplitter Palace. After assisting Queen Letitia Skullsplitter, the Queen of the Ashen Isles, in detonating the volcano that dominates the Isle of Garu, the forces that the Knights of the Pyre had left on the island were decidedly routed. The void spike that had grown up in front of Skullsplitter Palace was summarily destroyed in the violent aftermath of the volcano's eruption, and as the leader of the Knights of the Pyre, the great conflagration turned into smoke and ran. Our heroes took many paths to escape the crumbling remnants of Skullsplitter Palace. Ruger charmed a dinosaur and rode out with Hektor as Rilla used her magical powers to increase her speed and just won so hard running away from the palace as Zurabak hitched a ride with his sister, Queen Letitia Skullsplitter. When everything was said and done, our heroes reconnoitered on the beach at the Isle of Garu, and Zurabak was bestowed lands and a title by the Pirate Queen Letitia Skullsplitter after admitting that they weren't related, quote-unquote admitting that they weren't related by blood. And our heroes were rewarded for their efforts in routing the Ashen Islands of the threat of the Knights of the Pyre. Pretty Polly, your pirate contact, awarded you lots of gold and magical items, and you all departed through the portal through which you came back to the city of Everspring. So we join our heroes now. You stand in front of this portal, which is in the shape like a Stonehenge, two large slabs of stone with one balanced atop them. And as you approach, it flares to life, a shimmering sheen of force popping up within its confines as you approach. Do you walk through?
I do.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You all...
Yes.
God damn it.
Got him.
God damn it. You all stride through this portal. You are awash in white light with the sound of rushing air in your ears for but a moment when you are disgorged onto the towering heights of the Everspring Mountains.
This is how Sam's gonna kill us in like 20 episodes. We know this, right? Like, we're gonna get so used to traveling through this, we're gonna step in it and just disintegrate immediately.
Just get jettisoned right into the void.
Yeah.
That's good writing right there.
There'll be like a transportation spell that throws us into a black hole or some shit. We're just gone.
See, I'm just waiting for one of these portals to actually be a mimic. You know, we just walk right up to it. You know, never trust your dungeon master.
Everything's a mimic. I'm gonna make your hat a mimic. Now that you said that, that'll be fun. Just a jaunty chapeau to devour your fucking head.
I cast Detect Evil on his hat.
You detect Zurabak, because apparently that's all we can detect.
Yeah, the radius of that evil is too great. Anyway, so you guys step this
I
portal.
also can't cast that spell.
That's another hurdle. So yeah, you find yourself in the ring of standing stones on some of the highest peaks of the Everspring Mountains. A chill wind blows up a gale around you, and there's a small skein of snow on the rocks. And to your surprise, there is someone waiting for you as you come through this portal.
Ah!
See.
Sorry, I was trying to roleplay surprise.
I mean, is it a surprise if it's open?
Yeah, I guess maybe you're not surprised. Hector was definitely canonically surprised, so I'll just go off that. Hector was not expecting anyone to be on the other side of this thing.
I'm unflappable, so.
I hold a match up next to him.
Ah!
I know the basics of how magic work. I'm not new to this.
We are on a roll tonight.
So you all step through and you see Lore Master Holland standing in the rough stone on this mountaintop with the circle of portal stones. And she regards you with her wide sunken eyes and her skeletal frame wreathed in a silver robe. She says, "So you have returned. I trust there were not too many problems. I must say I did not expect you back so soon."
Entire island's on fire.
Hey, quick question. Did the queen follow us?
No.
Okay.
Queen Letitia?
Cool.
No, she did not follow you.
All right. Just making sure.
She's staying in the Ashen Isles.
Flying on a giant bird somewhere.
Until I need her later.
It's not the entire island, just most of it.
The big one.
Oh, okay. That's all right. So I suppose that was going to happen eventually. Did you get what you were looking for?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
May I see it?
No.
Well, you see, part of the problem is we did get it, but Zurabak has it. So we're still negotiating the terms.
Lore Master Holland flicks her large sunken eyes over to Zurabak and regards him for a second.
I regard her back.
There we go. I waited for that one because I knew it was coming. And she blinks her eyes and says, "Well, I suppose it's best if you all hang on to it. You are the protagonists, after all. Well,
Also, I don't know if it's done cooking.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's fairly
that
fresh.
makes sense. Well, so you've gathered the first arcane component for the repairing of the tapestry. I'm delighted to hear it. I can open the portal back to the college. Is there anything you all wish to report?
Well, there's a few things.
Zurabak's nobility now.
Yeah. He picked up a. Was it a duchy? Am I right in that? But are you a duke now? Is that correct?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, that all tracks. No, yeah, I believe he's a duke of one of the Ashen Isles. Turns out it's his sister who runs the place. She looks strikingly like him. It's weird.
It's jarring.
I'm pretty sure that part of the title came with that she's not his sister.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Is
that
like a
is
condition.
that is a point worth noting. Good call there, Bard.
His not sister. Yes.
Right, not sister.
Okay.
Quote, unquote.
What does quotation marks
I
mean?
was just about to.
I've never seen those before.
I
broke
think
the world.
that would last.
That's pretty good. Ruger's doing the two fingers on either side. No one knows what the fuck. Ruger, your nose starts bleeding. You have no idea what you're doing.
I get a little sick.
Whoa.
I mean, technically, I did it, but sure.
Yeah, it's all fun.
I mean, technically, this is an audio podcast, so me calling that out wasn't going to play at all.
That's fair. That's fair. Back in fiction, I also say it should also be mentioned. We did find another one of them void spikes. You know, one of them tears in reality. Just doing all kinds of nefarious shit on them there isles. It's part of the reason why we set the whole island on fire.
Actually, you know what we probably need to mention the most is probably, and I just gesture at not Sebastian. Got a little stowaway.
Yeah. And he's like coming back into some godly powers. It's a little disconcerting if you ask me, but that's probably worth noting. Oh, and real quick, it sure seemed, now I could be mistaken because there was a little bit of mutiny at the end, but sure seemed as if the Knights of the Pyre had made some sort of alliance with the Cult of the Stricken. They were operating on the Ashen Isles together for the better part of it. They did ultimately pull out their knives at the end, but you know, bad guys doing what they do.
Lore Master Holland's eyes are as white as dinner plates at this point. She is even paler than she normally is, even more reminiscent of a skeleton, and she regards you, her mouth open. That is quite a lot.
Oh, it's maybe also worth noting, probably not as big as some of the other things, but they were using the Void Spike to corrupt the souls of animals, so that's a thing that's possible.
Excellent, great.
I feel like we need to just keep saying, oh, I don't know if it's worth noting, and just keep saying
Yeah.
the worst possible things we can think of.
Snake is still dressed up like that. He hasn't lost the
Yes.
outfit.
Good point. The cat's
So
fine
is my
too.
cat.
Don't worry about the cat.
Rutherford.
Snake and Rutherford still
oh.
disguised as void beasts.
One
from
more
a couple
thing.
episodes ago.
One more thing, Lord Master Holm, and this is arguably the most important thing. I rode a dinosaur, so yours truly. I did, in fact. I know. Quell your enthusiasm, but
I have to say, Ruger, with everything you and your companions have just told me about your adventure, that is a bit of sunlight on this cloudy
right,
day.
a little bit of levity, you
that's-
know, to just even it all out.
It sounds, you know what, Ruger, that sounds almost, dare I say it, rad. And so I'm very happy for you that happened. Now, the rest of it. So there was another hole in reality, a void spike on this island. Also, the
What?
Knights of the Pyre were there working with the Cult of the Stricken. Also, you can feed animals to these things now.
Yeah. Oh, and also Zerbak's sister. As it turns out, she
Not
not her sister with the nosebleed air quotes.
not sister.
Right. So the queen, she also could rip tiny little holes in reality. You know, sort of at will. That even caught Satan over here by surprise. That really shocked him. Should have seen his face.
Anthony, still in handcuffs beside you, speaks up and says, I think it's fine. I told her to stop, so that doesn't really bear any more attention.
Yeah,
I
that'll
think-
stop her.
Yeah, I don't know though. He's really feeling himself today, so
I think the more important thing is just that that's apparently something that they just teach to pretty much whoever with the Cult of the Stricken. They're just willing to teach that.
oh
I mean,
yeah.
it's probably to higher ups like queens and shit, but yeah.
Oh, it's also worth noting the Lord Deceiver. Turns out she has the ability to impregnate your dreams. She can just shove nightmares right in there.
Can we phrase that differently?
No, we cannot, as it turns out.
Lord Master Holland says, Ick. That's pretty gross. Yeah. Well, I appreciate the full report. That's quite a lot of stuff. I'll be sure to spread this amongst the rest of the lore masters so we can begin planning our next move. We've had some promising breakthroughs with the skull of the cipher golem that you all recovered. We've managed to find some old diagrams in the vault that the turnkeys think will be instrumental to rebuilding it. So we've been busy on our end as well. But let us get you off of this mountain peak. Shall I return our friend Anthony Geist to his cell?
I mean,
Yes, I would say let's go ahead and double
yeah.
security.
I think that's what we agreed to now, but I think we also understand that, Anthony, next time we head out on one of your missions, you have to, or should likely be a part of them.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
further conversations on the matter should be had. However, I think
Oh, I don't know how he got in the sack. I have no idea.
And you say we're bad liars. You're awful.
yeah.
All of a sudden, he was just there in my sack. Nothing I could do about it.
I tricked him very good. Anyway,
I don't know who's worse.
It's flip of a coin, really. Either way, I don't think it'd be wise to parade the stricken through the streets of Everspring. I mean, I think keeping that on the hush-hush for the time is probably the right call.
Right, call. Keep going.
Time.
I'll have a few knights from the Order of the Quill escort him in a closed carriage down to Grotmire, where he will be returned to his cell until he is needed again.
I mean, I could put him back in the sack. I mean, get tricked to put him back in the sack.
Even Satan does not like your sack. Okay?
He chose the sack.
Please, it's stricken, for God's sake. So
Wait.
Lord,
All right, never mind.
Lord Master Holland snaps her fingers, and another one of these portals activates behind her, turning on with the shimmering plane of force, and she welcomes you to walk through, and then walks through herself. As you all follow, you are once again surrounded by all white with a rushing sound in your ears, and a moment later you stand in the council hall of the lore masters. There are 4 knights of the Order of the Quill standing here with long swords and shields and full plate armor. And at Holland's instruction, they approach, grab Antony by his shoulders, and start to carry him away. Antony spares one look back at you all with his now permanently pitch black eyes, and he winks as they carry him out. Lore Master Holland says, "Of course, your rooms are still available if you need to take your rest, and let us know if there is anything you need."
Well, I think I'd like to wash this ash off, for one. New change clothes. Check on my horse, maybe.
I kind of like it.
The amenities of the college are yours. If you'll excuse me, I have to inform the rest of the lore masters as to what has transpired. And she nods to you all and leaves. So yeah, you guys are back in the city of Everspring. You're currently in the college. You got a bunch of money. You got some magic items, which we'll talk about.
Do tell.
From your last adventure. Brian, did you have that list of magical items that I bestowed upon you all?
I do.
So,
Let us see.
at the behest of Queen Letitia's Skullsplitter, Pretty Polly bestowed upon you all some gold and some magic items, and we're just going to real quick unpack what these do as fast as possible and see who wants what, and then you guys can do whatever. So what did I give you?
Item number 1, necklace of fireballs, type
I knew I
7.
gave you.
Not it.
I knew I gave you. I knew I gave you a fucking necklace of fireballs. Yeah, this one's simple. It is a necklace in the form of a bunch of beautiful red and orange beads, and any one of you that holds it, you see a golden chain with golden spheres as you hold it in your hand. And basically, you can take these spheres off and throw them like fireballs, which is super fun. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 9 spheres on here. They each do a different type of damage, and we'll unpack exactly what that means. Not on mic, but yeah, this is a dope ass necklace with a bunch of little spheres on it you can throw to make fireballs happen. Yeah, so that is a necklace of fireballs. Who wants that?
Well, what else is there?
What else is there, Brian?
Item number 2 is a chime of interruption, and I know this one. A chime of interruption is a chime that can be rang, and for a 3-minute period after it has been rang, any spells with verbal components do not work within
30-foot radius.
30-foot radius without a concentration check, which is 15 plus the spell level, I want to say.
Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, basically you ring this, and in a 30-foot ring around you, any spell that requires people to talk while they cast it, there's a chance they'll fail it hard. It's a pretty difficult check. So yeah, that one's fun. It's it looks like a dope ass tuning fork, and yeah, if you strike it, you will interrupt the casting of spells with verbal components. What else we got, Brian?
Number 3 is a 3rd level Pearl of Power.
The Pearl of Power. I think Zurabak's got one of these for lower level stuff. I don't think it's coming to play
Just
yet.
hoarding the magical items.
What, you want a first level spell?
It lets you like instantly re-prepare a spell once you've cast it, right?
Yeah, once per day, you can recall any one spell that you had prepared and then cast. So yeah, it lets you get back a spell slot.
So it has to be a caster type that prepares their spells, right?
Yes. Clerics, druids, rangers, paladins, and wizards.
Okay.
And the final item is a lesser strand of prayer beads.
Ooh, prayer beads. Those are fun.
Go on.
Says the paladin.
I know. Tell me more.
Praying, I'm all about that. We need to get you praying more.
Yeah.
That's my goal for the rest of this campaign.
We're getting there.
I bet it's under B for beads. Why would they do that to me? This item appears to be a normal string of prayer beads until the owner casts a divine spell. Once that occurs, the owner instantly knows the powers of prayer beads and how to activate them. Let's see. What did I give you?
A lesser strand.
Lesser. So yeah, this is a strand of beads that has, let's see, that has different magical powers. So this one has a bead of blessing, which lets you cast bless. Bead of healing, which lets you cast some cure spells, which is fun. Yeah. Oh, that's the only 2 it has. Okay. And each of these beads can be used once per day. So this strand of prayer beads lets you cast bless once a day and lets you cast either cure serious wounds, remove blindness, deafness, or remove disease once a day. So yeah.
All right.
That's what that does. Little extra spell power there.
So, in terms of divvying these up, the Pearl of Power and the Lesser Strand of Prayer Beads, I'm pretty sure can only be used by Zurabak and Ruger.
Yep.
I'm going to be real honest. I don't want any of them.
Dang.
Like, quite
You know-
legitimately, I don't. I already have 2 necklaces, and I can cast Fireball whenever I want. So I don't need a third. And the others are not set for me, really. I could carry the chimes if you want, but I don't want to ring them because then I can't cast spells without a concentration check.
I will say the Chime of Interruption is the one that stuck out to me as something that I would like.
Yeah, I want none of them. I want a flaming sword. I want to know if I can have one of those because I have a basic long sword, so I would like to make that a +1 with fire. But this shit, I don't want.
You also that is a good point. You also stole from the Knights of the Pyre 2 flaming longswords.
Yeah, and I called dibs on one of them.
Flaming longswords.
So I'm gonna take that right now if that's cool, because that's all I want.
That's one.
Does it do like some extra fire damage or some shit?
All right, hear me out on
On
this.
hit, it does an extra 1d6 fire damage.
Cool.
Hear me out on this. Can I have the other one?
What's up, Ruger? You want the other one?
You know, maybe. Maybe.
That's an interesting choice. I like
It's,
that. You'll be terrified.
I like that a lot.
Does anybody have an objection to me taking the other flaming longsword?
What, are you going to light your cigarettes with it?
I don't know
Please
what I'm going to do
do.
with it yet, but I might stare at it a little bit.
Well, I'm going to say
Contemplate
this real quick.
fires.
You have to light your cigarettes with it now.
Yes.
Now you have to.
I don't have to do anything. I'm a free and independent player character, okay? I live my fantasy life how I want to.
Yeah, no, I expect it to like sit in his like backpack unused for a very long time until he goes through some character development.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
okay.
So Brian's taking the chime of interrupting.
Yeah.
That goes to Hector the Gatekeeper. Does anybody want this necklace of fireballs?
Zerback?
Hector, you want some fireballs?
I mean, that's obviously something that can be useful to pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
It's not super my like style, so
I'm also tempted to take that necklace. It just, I don't know, just hold powerful fire magic on me, but agonize over using it.
It's
I can
your
also
therapy.
I can also
Yeah.
see it. I can also see it just as like, okay, and so I'm going to take this so nobody uses it. That's less fire on the battlefield.
That's an interesting look as well, possibly, yeah.
I mean, your name is Firehide. You got burn scars. It's about time you start stacking up with
I
burning
know,
shit, you
I
know?
It's, yeah.
Yeah, this is immersion therapy. Does anyone care if Ruger takes the fire necklace?
I do not.
Well,
Okay.
okay, but then we got to talk about the strand of prayer beads. Who's taking the strand of prayer beads?
Zurabak, are you going to take any of these magic items?
No.
So there's also,
We could also sell them.
unless
but yeah.
Sam corrects me, right? We could sell what we don't want and turn it into liquid gold.
There is a thriving economy in Everspring for magic items. You are more than welcome to sell any of the shit you do not want to keep.
Yeah, because I think even when like we read this list last time, I couldn't remember it well, but I remember going, "Oh yeah, none of this is real." It was really heavily like it felt like really heavily towards Ruger. Honestly, like stuff he could use. Since it is just a random table, I was like, "This is, I don't know, I don't really care."
I mean,
If somebody in this group wants to use it, feel free. But I'm not interested. And Zerabak doesn't use anything, so
although he should take the power pearl, right? Doesn't that make sense? An extra spell available?
he's never going to heal us. You might. I would vote you take it.
But I will
The
not.
the pearl of power just gives you a spell back that you just
And that would be
Oh, okay,
that would
okay.
be wasted on me because I'm just never gonna reach the heights of spellcastery.
Right. And I literally can't use that either, so...
Yeah. Yes, we do not prepare our spells.
Oh my god, he's saying we now. Isn't that cute? We do not...
All right.
I mean,
So I'm taking.
every one of you is fucking magic.
I'm taking the flaming longsword.
Okay.
And I'm taking the necklace of fireball.
Okay.
And I'm taking the strand of prayer beads. Right? Are we all in agreement there, or what?
Yeah. I don't want to take my necklace off unless I have to, because it adds a 1 to my very minimal AC. So it would have to be amazing.
I will heal you guys if I get the strand. I will use it to good effect.
Yeah.
Now,
So you
okay.
can heal once a day with that, and then once a day cast blast.
Okay. And I don't have to be, like, wearing it to do so. I can just pluck a pearl off of it, or what's the rule there?
So the strand of prayer beads, you can use each of these once a day, and you just hold them. You just hold them in your hand and use them.
Nice.
You just cast the spell that they contain. The necklace of fireballs, that is finite. There's a couple orbs you pull off of there, and once those are done, the necklace is used up.
Okay.
All right,
exciting.
so that's the magical items. So, you all find yourself in Everspring. The whole city is stretched out before you. You each got quite a bit of moolah. Think about $5,000 a pop.
Yep.
Which you can use to buy whatever kind of stuff you'd like. Did you guys have plans to purchase anything while we're in town? All of the markets of Everspring are available and at your disposal.
But it's still limited with magical items, correct? It's like...
Pretty much anything within your current price range is going to be available.
For the flaming longsword, is that a +1 flaming longsword, or is it just a flame?
That is a +1 flaming longsword. For complicated reasons that this version of the game requires, but we will not unpack for our listeners because it's boring as shit. So yeah, did you guys want to...
Probably, but I honestly don't know, nor do I want to hunt down my books and start flipping through it right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like too.
There is one item that I know that I want to buy.
And what would that be, Hektor, the gatekeeper, keeper of the gates?
Bracers of armor.
Okay. You wanna go down on some badass bracers to increase your armor class?
Yes, because as a barbarian, my armor class is atrocious, and I don't wear armor. And it goes down when I'm raging. It gets worse when I'm raging.
That's true. Your armor class.
When
does get
I'm
worse
raging, my armor class is... Wait, what is it?
This is Fitz.
13.
Higher than mine.
Yeah, that's very hittable.
Lower than mine, though.
I'm also the frontline fighter.
That's true. That's an interesting combination.
I have an armor class of 17, but I notoriously love my armor class. So
I have an AC of 14, since we're apparently talking about
wow,
this now.
we are a supremely hittable party.
We are.
Pretty
And that's
fucking
with a
hittable.
plus 3 to my dexterity.
Oof.
So, you guys divvy up your magic items, and you make plans to spend this money at maybe a later date. As you go to your rooms to freshen up,
Cafeteria.
dust yourself. Zurabak, I was gonna get to that. I know that's where you're going. You gotta trust me to get there, buddy.
They're going to freshen up also. I'm probably just going to check on my dress for this wedding. Let's not lie. Because Beth the human likes dress porn, and I gotta make sure
You know
I
what?
get it.
Let's do a take 2 on this, because that's my bad. That was bad DMing. You're back in Everspring. What do? Zurabak goes to the cafeteria to feast. Zurabak, the cooks in the second kitchen that they've installed in this cafeteria are leaning against their various tools and equipment as you walk in, enjoying the small amount of peace they've received in your absence. And as soon as they see you, they start clamoring to assemble meals for you as you take your seat at the end of a long table right in front of the kitchen's Zurabak's seat. You notice that there's no longer just a bench there like all the rest of the tables in this cafeteria. There is now a large wooden chair that has seemingly been put there, and there's a pair of antlers stuck on the back of it. And as you walk in, a group of students from the college sort of swarm around your chair as you take the seat, and they say, "Oh man, we're so glad you're back. We got a whole nother round of bets, and we haven't been able to place a single one of them until you got back here. Can't wait to see how much you're going to put down this time, Chief. I hope you like the chair. It's sort of our gift to you. We're making a lot of money off of you, man." And with that grunt, the first platter of food is brought out to you, and everyone starts placing bets as to how much you're going to get down this time. Rilla, where are you going?
We commissioned some outfits for a wedding, so I'm gonna go check on mine and make sure it's up to my standards.
Will you pick up
I'm
my
gonna
suit?
do.
Come on, it's right there, Rilla. Come on. Do old Fireheart a favor.
If I pick up your suit, I'm going to add some additions to it.
Well,
Ruger, do you just
tasteful
want to go
additions,
with?
Well,
I'm not
ashy.
sure yet.
All right, fine. I'll go with Rilla. But I need a bath, damn it. Look at me.
You can freshen up a bit. So you guys go check in your outfits. Hector, what did you want to do before I get into their shit? Did you want to go check on your outfit for the wedding as well?
No, Hector just goes with everything, especially the Sebastian stuff. Hector just goes into his room to be quiet and pensive.
Okay. An unfamiliar sight as Zerbeck heads to the
That's why
cafeteria.
he goes out. That's why he goes in his room to do so. He
Although
does
to be
these kinds of
fair,
things, like when when he
Everspring-
cried. I was just gonna say, like when he cried after the death of Olga,
Wrong.
Inga.
I don't know. Whichever one's dead.
Break my heart.
There's 3 names with there's Olga, Helga, and Inga Hilltopple, and we haven't dealt
it's
with
a
them in a
theme.
minute. It took me a second to pull out which one was the one that died. I'm sorry.
And it broke my heart. I'm very sensitive anyway. So yeah, during that time you went and hid before you expressed emotions. So yeah, as Hector goes to his room to get some quiet, pensive alone time, Zerbeck heads down to the cafeteria, and Rilla and Ruger, you all go check on the clothes you commissioned for this wedding, because Ruger's ex-wife is getting married to the local spellcaster known as the Diviner. And yeah, you guys go check on the outfits that you have commissioned. There's a little bit of a hubbub as you guys weave your way through the brightly painted streets of Everspring, the throngs of humans and elves and dwarves, halflings, people of all shapes and sizes swirling around you. There's a little bit of a ruckus outside of the tailor that you had hired to make your outfits for this wedding. There is a group of people, incredibly well-dressed people in the highest fashions. It is all like cutting edge, like crazy cuts, high collars, like flared pantaloons, like some of the most outlandish styles you've ever seen, thronging outside the window of this tailor shop. As you walk up on, they're all excitedly gossiping with themselves very loudly and like trying to crane their necks to look through the window. You hear one of them say, I think she's here. I think it's actually her, Charissa Lamstrand. I think she's actually here. What do you guys do?
I walk right in. I dig some elbows in. I'm getting through because I bought a dress, god damn it.
Okay. You muscle your way through the crowd. Ruger,
There's not a lot of muscle, just to be fair. This is I have a strength of 11. It's not
I help her clear the path, but I follow her kind of confused.
Yeah, Rilla starts elbowing through Ruger in hot pursuit. You get inside, and the tailor that you hired to make this stuff, small, unassuming human man, balding and looking very nervous, is like sweating behind his counter as a very tall and powerfully built woman in a silk gown that is the most gorgeous garment you've ever seen just berates him as you walk in. She has white hair done up in this elaborate bundle of curls that's like a fucking foot tall above her head. And she is just screaming, "I will not have this! I will not have someone of your neophyte skill level dare to have your works grace the frame of what could be the greatest fashion model in the history of this town. The guy behind the counter is like, Miss Lamstrand, please, I need the business. Like, come on, I have to. No, I won't have it. As you guys walk in, this large woman turns around and Rilla stares you up and down and says, you must be her. This Rilla of 1,000 faces I've heard so much about. You're the shapeshifter, yes?
I just immediately turn into her, because this is what I do to people. Yes, it is.
This woman raises an eyebrow and then slowly walks a circuit around you and says, that's surprisingly unflattering, but I respect your craft. I must say, I am personally wounded that you came to this middling talent instead of me. Do you not know who I am?
I don't.
I have no idea who you are. No.
I am Charissa Lamstrand, of the Lamstrand line of clothing. All of those sycophants outside are fans of mine. I make the greatest fashions in all of Meosha.
All right.
You are going to be my masterpiece.
I look at Ruger immediately.
What's up?
I looked at Ruger when she said you. Like, him?
I strike a pose. I do blue steel.
She does give you an appreciating look, and she's like, rugged cowboy is so last year, darling. No, listen. I have searched high and low for someone that can fit any outfit I am able to craft, no matter the size and shape. You can turn yourself into anything I need you to be. Literally, putty in my hands. I can be unbound from the confines, normally restricting the creative works of any fashion designer. You are my muse. You will allow me to craft a gown for this tawdry social event you are attending.
I will allow you to make as many gowns as you want, but I don't know if I can add extra arms. I haven't tried it. I'm just saying, we'll figure it out.
I'll try to recover from this ruinous discovery. Okay, I'm recovered. Listen, if I'm going to make something for you, something worthy of your potential, you'll have to do something for me first. There's going to be a small fashion show.
Yes! Yes.
I've been out of town for a while chasing down exotic materials for my newest projects. And I must remind everyone here who's at the top of the food chain. And she shrieks down at this man behind the counter who recoils. You will meet me at my shop tomorrow, and we shall begin our work.
Just to be clear, I don't have to be there, right?
Are you still here?
No, ma'am. In fact, I do actually, sir. I ordered a suit from you.
The dude looks across the counter at you, sheepishly. It's like, oh, thank God. Yeah, no, I gotcha. It's right here. And at that, Charissa Lamstrand, fashion designer to the stars, turns on her heel and stalks out of the building, and this coterie of high-fashion sycophants follows her in a cloud down the street.
I love that lady so much.
Audible sigh.
Rilla says while still looking just like her.
Ruger, this gentleman has made you a suit cut very well in a traditional fashion. It's got a long coat, no collar, and a little bolo tie. It's a nice fit. Some lovely boots to go with it.
I just shriek, pedestrian, darling.
I glare. I just glare at the shapeshifter.
Ma'am, can you please get out of my shop? I'm terrified of the form you're in right now. Could you please just, if you're not going to buy the thing, can you please just go?
No.
Rilla, cut the act. Come on, come back down to reality. You got a dress to try on, I think. Oh wait.
No, I don't.
Maybe
no,
not.
no, I don't.
So
I have a new dress.
Are you not
apparently.
going to pay this guy for the dress you ordered from him, or I'm confused about how the custom works here. And I look at that guy as I say it.
I just leave.
I did make the dress. Okay. All right.
How much is the dress?
Fade to black.
Just take it out of the Zerback fund.
Yeah, there you go.
Zerback's got a lot of money.
Nice.
No, we do. Zerback doesn't have anything but a stick and a fucking castle. He's fine.
Zerback's never going to step foot in that thing.
Let's sell it. Real estate these days. Let's talk.
You want to buy a volcanic island?
I think that the smarter thing to do would be to rent it.
Oh, for a bow.
Yes.
Hektor, as you are alone with your thoughts in your room, is there anything in particular sticking out in your mind that you're cogitating? You know what? That's a bad question to ask. Sorry, I smoked a little weed before we started, so I'm a little off my game. I'm leading instead of prompting. Give me a second.
You introduced my favorite NPC, and Rilla's not a clothes horse, but she will be now, goddammit.
Yeah, you will be now. You're a shapeshifter. What fashion designer wouldn't want to nail you into like a box in their basement so they can always have you around? That's not going to happen unless it does.
Unless it does.
Hektor, as you're alone with your thoughts,
what a dark turn.
there is. I cannot be dark. There is a knock at your door.
I answered.
Howdy, Hector. No, I'm just kidding.
What if that's how this game works? Someone jump in! Jesus Christ. A grim voice says from the darkness, I don't care. All right, Zerabek, you can't. Anyway, you see Moonbeam, the gnome bard, the woman that runs the Hall of Whispers. She's wearing a long, flowing dress with a flower print and has a woven braid of flowers in her hair. And she looks up at you and says, Hektor, hi. It's so good to see you. I'm so glad to see that you're safe. Rumor mill's going already. Even after you came back, I heard from one of the lore masters that there was an island that got set on fire. Are you all right?
You just hear Zerback laugh in the background.
Yeah, all the way from the cafeteria.
Yeah, that was mostly intentional.
Okay, well, I'm sure that was the best option, considering what was going on.
Debatable,
I
I say in the background.
Jesus Christ, stop it! I just wanted to check on you and make sure that my best student was doing okay.
Physically I'm fine. I just got a few first-degree burns all over my body. Couple slashes. The typical kind of adventure stuff. I'm worried that are we doing the right thing?
Now that sounds like a very important question. Do you want to talk about it?
No. It's just that Sebastian, everything we're doing is relying on trusting someone that is pure evil, and yes, I think we're going up against something that is somehow a pure evil, and so, lesser of two evils and all of that, but I saw the look in his eye when he gained just a sliver of power.
I can understand how you might have some reservations on your grand quest to assist the greatest evil the world's ever known to save the world, I can't imagine how difficult that has to be, especially considering that if I have the story right, that you were betrayed so terribly by someone you thought was a friend, by this person you thought was Sebastian Weaver. And now not only were you betrayed by that person, but now you are working with them, having to trust them. That has to be hard.
I'm worried that we're going to end up empowering him. We may be replacing the greatest threat to our world with one that's even greater. The original great threat.
Hektor, I am a custodian of stories, and my job is to keep alive the tales from every era of mortals living on this island. And if there's something I know, it's that patterns tend to repeat themselves. And every time that great darkness rises up, there are heroes that fight it. And personally, I'm glad that if the stricken is going to get up to something nefarious, that there's someone like you watching him like a hawk the whole time. I think we can all feel a little safer about something like that.
I'm worried that he's earning brownie points with the others. They saw the same thing I did, but I don't think they overly agreed with me when I talked about putting him in a box and burying it at the bottom, in the deepest cavern, at the center of the earth. I think that they don't think that was a serious suggestion, but it might be the best thing we could possibly do.
I mean, there's definitely some spots out there that you could put him in, for sure. Wouldn't that mean that you couldn't use him to try to fix the glyph purge, put reality back together?
Can we figure this out without him? Is that an option? We have most of the knowledge that's left here in the people that reside in the College of Everspring.
I think if it was possible to fix all these holes in the tapestry, if it was possible to end the glyph purge without the stricken, we wouldn't need the stricken now. We would have done it by now, right? Maybe he's the key.
Yeah.
But this is something you should talk to your friends about, I think. I think they'd be very interested to hear your feelings on the subject.
Yeah. I don't think they take me very seriously.
Why do you say that?
Because not that long ago, I walked through the college naked to get to the bathhouse. and like other things, that's just an example of a thing that, they see as silly. Oh, silly Hektor.
I had heard that you'd done that, but I almost didn't believe the rumors. I'm delighted to find that it's true. That's quite a good story.
I live on a mountain. Nudity wasn't like a thing we cared about.
Listen, Hector, you don't have to convince me, okay? You have no idea what I get up to on the weekends. Anyway. Well, if you're making jokes, you got to be feeling a little bit better, yeah? You should talk to your friends about this. You all haven't reached the end of the story yet, and there's plenty of tale left to be told. You should move forward together. Now, do you want to go get drunk?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go get drunk. And you guys go get plastered.
Woo!
Ruger, as you take your suit back to your room at the College of Everspring, there is a centaur waiting outside your door. They are tapping their front hoof, waiting expectantly for you to arrive. The human part of their torso is dressed smartly in a dark blue coat and they've got a wide brim hat tipped low as you approach.
Well, howdy there, messenger.
Are you there? Are you Firehide then?
I'm the one.
Well, got a message for you. The diviner wanted to have a chat with you. Not sure why. They hired a runner to let you know. You can meet them tomorrow morning at their tower.
Well, all right then. I appreciate the message. And I tip him whatever is appropriate to pay a centaur messenger.
Runners are in it for the money. You flip him you flip him a silver piece. He takes it and he tips his hat and clip claps down the hall. You've gotten a summons from the diviner.
Don't go. Show him who's boss.
Man, it's weird how Zerback talks so much more when he's not in a scene.
Yeah.
That's the Zerback on your shoulder, don't you know?
Oh, God.
Ah!
I brush it off.
Yeah. All right. So that's how your first day back ends. The wedding that you're all attending is in, I think, 5 days now. Yeah, it's in a couple days. Your second day back here in Everspring. In the morning, we'll say you all meet for breakfast in the cafeteria at the college.
Zerback never left.
No, Zerback never left. There are 3 students sleeping under the table and like peering up periodically to check that he's still going. They're taking shifts now. There's one student with like a wad, with like a big coin purse, just keeping an eye on Zerback's constant consumption. And Zerback's the annex to the kitchen that had to be built to service Zerback is going whole hog. And as you guys get to the table, you notice this brand new chair with the beautiful antlers. And there's a few spots for you all to sit next to him if you'd like. But he's got a mountain of ham and bacon and sausage that's all constructed into a giant sweating meat tower that he is currently devouring.
I don't think I can eat at this table and keep my appetite. You know, like that's a lot of greasy meat to see as soon as you wake up in the morning.
Yeah, it is actually a little.
That's what your mom said.
Okay, now I want to throw up.
Why's it gotta be greasy? No!
That's how she like it.
No, Brian! People listen to this! They don't anymore, but they used to!
Hector, my mother is
We used
dead!
to have listeners, Brian. You know what? I think it's time for a word from our sponsor.
Hey!
Talking about greasy meat.
Hey there, listeners. It's Sam, your Dungeon Master, and I have some exciting news. We here at Challenge Rating Zero have our very first sponsor, Apotheosis Comics and Lounge. Find them on South Grand or at their new location on Cherokee Street. Or, for those of you listeners not living in St. Louis, Missouri, find them at shopapotheosis.com. Voted St. Louis's best comic book store twice over by the Riverfront Times, Apotheosis Comics and Lounge should be your one-stop shop for comics, graphic novels, D&D swag, and more. Not only can you find the latest titles from your favorite superheroes, but you can do so with a cold, locally sourced beer from your favorite St. Louis breweries. That's right. Not only can you find comics and cold beers at Apotheosis Comics and Lounge, but you might also come across yours truly. Apotheosis Comics and Lounge, the latest and greatest sponsor of the latest and greatest D&D podcast, Challenge Rating Zero. Check them. Okay, and we're back. So yeah, you guys are in the cafeteria of the College of Everspring having breakfast. You are comfortably removed from Zerback so that you're not hit with any
Splatter.
any splatter, any collateral
Yeah.
gravy damage.
I feel like they're probably feeding him weird shit too. Like it's like here's a bowl of chili, and then here's a 3-layer cake, and like it's just random shit.
Some of the students betting on how far he'll go, they start throwing like fish bones and shit on the pile of food in front of him. Like they're definitely sneaking stuff in. And Zurbak's just putting it down.
Much to their horror.
Zurbak, roll me a fortitude saving throw. Let's gamify this a little bit.
27.
Is it versus poison? Is it versus the Fae?
Honestly, that's a great question. I have considered poisoning
It is
Zurbak
not
several
versus the
times.
Fae, but someone did slip a little poison in there. Yeah, someone just to see.
So we're adding the poison bonus.
Right, I stand by my 27.
Oh, we're betting on the roll now.
You know,
Is that what's
keep
happening?
things spicy. We're gamifying it.
These students are just, I just want to see if he can keep going. These students are betting on how long he'll...
It is 25, not 27.
Damn, so close. You are completely dieseling through all of this fucking... You are a trash compactor. No one can stop you. You are completely unfazed. So the rest of you at this table, thrown into relative obscurity in the shadow of Zurbak's great culinary exploits, are enjoying your breakfast. What do you guys eat for breakfast?
Meat and oats.
Interesting. Meat notes. Well,
Uncooked oats. It's really good. You got to work your jaw pretty hard, but
about notes.
Rilla starts her day off with a cup of tea typically, but after seeing this shit, it's just become blacker and blacker coffee now.
Yeah. So
I think, and probably like toast, something light, because it's an awful sight. I think Rilla gets most of her food later when Zurbak's not around.
yeah,
Maybe you should stop staring so intently.
I have to watch so the grease doesn't spatter on me.
I think
Okay.
I think Ruger is going with black coffee, fatty bacon, and some buttered toast, and a side of berries, mixed berries
there you go.
with cream.
You
There's
gotta
got to be
go.
cream with the berries, not with the coffee though.
Got to make it a little bit healthy. So what do you guys talk about?
Do we want to talk about the demigod in the room, like an elephant, or is that a later conversation?
I think I got
I
that.
think
reference.
Zurbak's stomach's technically inside Zurbak.
This is gross.
Definitely not talking about you, bud.
Let's just
You're
all
just a
agree
monster.
to not use the word greasy. Well, okay. You say elephant in the room, but do you mean
No,
The-
she said demigod.
the figurative one, or the literal fat fucking orc over there who's been eating this whole time? Should we talk about that?
I feel like we've talked about it before. I think he'll just eat himself to death eventually, but that's not really world
Which is
concerning.
probably best case scenario for
Yeah.
us.
Okay.
Or
so-
he'll get so fat
Guys.
he can't leave anymore, and then we're good too.
You guys, hear me out, okay? I know we've been joking about it, right? Ha ha ha, Zurbak's awful, right? But guys, literally, he is. Like, I can magically detect just how awful he is. And it's a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. Just throwing that out there. Anyways, about the eternal evil.
Yeah, on the subject of incredibly evil beings that we work with to save the world, I'm really concerned about Sebastian. Not Sebastian. I'm really concerned about the stricken. We need to talk about stricken.
Okay,
Okay.
well, I agree. But Hector, it sounds like you have something on your mind. So would you like to go first?
On the one hand, I do think that the cult is is a bigger active threat to the world than he himself, and that he is an immensely useful weapon in the battle.
He's definitely a weapon. On that we agree.
We can't do the thing we did with Queen Letitia. We can't use him to convince cultists that they're following the wrong stricken and convert them to him. That can never happen again.
Yeah, that did
Yeah, for sure.
raise the hackles a little.
I didn't want that to happen. Like, I wanted her to doubt her leader, but I didn't expect it to empower that little demigod.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us did, but now we know, and there is a part of me that wants to go back and kill her. There's a part of me that thinks that him having any followers
Wow.
is too dangerous.
Well, now, Hector, I gotta be honest, buddy. That's a little bit extreme. What you're describing. Okay.
Question, she is deeply evil, right? She seemed deeply evil.
She ripped holes in reality. I think that's not a great thing.
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can
I was
tell
a little
this fucker's
overwhelmed
evil.
at the time, and unfortunately, I have to be in range to do that. But that whole palace reeked of evil, and I'm sure she was a part of it. She's Zerbak's sister. I mean, excuse me, not sister. I'm sorry, I get confused.
The two reasons why she sided with us was because we showed her that she was following the wrong stricken. She wanted to be following the stricken, just we showed her that it wasn't the actual stricken that she was following. A, and B, some people wanted to kill her, and we were the only people to side with in that scenario. If they didn't come down into that dungeon to kill her, if we didn't have the actual literal stricken in a sack, we would have probably had to fight her. Almost certainly.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I fully expected that we would have gone in there and murdered her. Honestly.
And guys, can we all just agree that that's a little bit extreme? I understand that we are protagonists and we are, for whatever it means, empowered beings. But Narrativa B, which wanting murder isn't a good look. And we are keeping company with some, questionable allies. So perhaps those of us who find ourselves walking the right path should consider continuing to walk the right path. Now, we did just establish a peace on the Ashen Isles. Sure, we blew it up a little, and, that's gonna happen sometimes. But there was a void spike, right? We did what we had to do. But at the end of it, we left people in agreement behind us. And I don't know, is Pretty Polly gonna start worshiping the Stricken or the, cult of the Stricken? Or, I don't know, that's also confusing. I worry about any plans to go back and topple, monarchies. And also, I really don't want to go back to that fire hellscape, Hector. I gotta be perfectly honest and naked about that, too.
I'm not suggesting that we do it. I'm simply saying she seemed to convert, and many of her followers seemed gung-ho on the idea as well, and we cannot allow that to happen again. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous that somebody knows that the Stricken is alive.
I think, buddy.
And captured, technically. Yeah. There could be a holy war against this Bard's College pretty easily.
Well, see, now here we are getting extreme again, guys. holy wars and such. Come on now.
Ruger, we're talking about the fucking end of the world. Yes, it's extreme. And
Yeah. All right. Okay. Fine. So, what are you proposing, Hector? Are you proposing that we do something about the stricken? Are you proposing that we leave him rotting in a box? Or, what do you think is the course forward?
if there was any group of people in this realm that would be able to reverse the glyph purge, to stop the cult of the stricken, it's the College of Everspring. This is where almost all of the knowledge still left is held. And if they could have, they would have by now. We have to keep working with the stricken, but we have to be more careful.
You're right, Hector. But I do think that it's worth mentioning that I've had the calling. And in that I have found a newfound clarity. And I think that the stricken is right when he says that Narrativa put him on this path. That everything that's happening now is a part of her plan. Now, I'm not saying that we may know exactly what she intends, but I do think it includes him. I agree that we need to be careful.
That is why the moment that I saw his eyes glow black as he gained followers, I didn't smash his skull in.
Again, Hector, extreme. Like,
Yes.
Can we all just maybe make a pact that if we're gonna just randomly kill someone, that maybe we discuss it first? Communication, guys. I cannot state it strongly enough.
I will talk to you guys before I do something as rash as that. There is at least one person at this table that will not ever agree to such a pact.
Yep.
Yeah, let's just hope he goes along for the ride. That I can believe in.
At the end of the table, you see Zurabak wrestling down an entire lamb shank, just the whole fucking thing. It is dripping in mint sauce, and it is all over his face.
I repress the urge to vomit and then take a sip of my coffee.
I would also want to point out that I hadn't really thought about it, but I kind of feel like once you have believers again, that shit tends to spread. They don't need to see... If someone has seen the stricken and is out there preaching about it or talking about it, which I would assume the Queen is probably doing, we've got a new spreading branch of believers already.
That's what I'm saying. It's dangerous that anybody outside of these walls knows that he's alive.
But they already
Much less an active follower. Yes.
Yeah, I think...
I kind of feel like it's too late already, is I think what I'm trying to say. Like...
We need some damage control on the spread of this.
Well, how do you propose that, Hector? Are you wanting to try and quell information?
Well, we probably need to put out a story that this is just some batshit insane person, right? Like we captured a crazy not a wizard, they don't exist. Crazy sorcerer or something.
This is a college of bards, and I think the greatest weapon is information, and yes, the control of information. I think that we should talk.
My hackles raise a little bit. My paladin hackles raise a little bit.
It's time for some misinformation.
I hate everything about it.
We need a propaganda campaign.
Yay!
I object.
Yay, propaganda!
I paladin protagonists say nay. Listen.
So we need to talk to like the lore masters about this. They need to know that the Stricken's presence is known. And yeah, we need to talk to them about possibly doing something damage control wise. The one lucky thing is that it's kind of shitty islands in the middle of nowhere, so hopefully that information doesn't spread off the islands too fast.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any centaurs running there.
Listen, I agree.
What is with you and centaurs, man?
Oh,
Can we talk about that for a minute?
I actually just saw one, weirdly.
I have nothing against centaurs. I just suspect, based off of, context clues, that a centaur may be bringing death upon you. That's it.
Wow. This has all just been really extreme. Just about everything that's happened over the course of this conversation. But on the note...
Hey, Ruger, that's what happens when you hang out with young people.
Yeah.
Right, old man?
Yeah, okay. By the way, she's a fashion model now. I don't know what to tell you. It's...
The world's ending.
Guys, everybody, let's just bring it down a notch. Let's just walk it back real quick. Centaurs and foreboding omens. I did get one of those, but last night. The diviner invited me to go to their palace and have a bit of a one-on-one convo.
A fist fight?
Probably a duel of honor. I don't really know.
Are you gonna fight for your lady love?
Well, now, see, here you go being extreme again. And I'm just trying to enjoy my coffee. Might have a cigarette afterwards. Who knows?
It's your last chance at love.
Well, now, let's just...
You're gonna be dead so soon, says Rilla.
How did I end up with a pair of teenagers and a certifiable monster? How did this happen?
You are fucking running around with just kids. This is fucking Charlie Brown, Lucy, and Pigpen just running around.
And what teacher? Let's tone it down.
That's mostly what we hear when you talk.
Fine. Okay. It's what I hear when I talk too, because that's just how I sound. All right? But look, okay, let's just talk about a couple things real quick. A, I agree. The spread of the worship of the stricken is not good. I agree wholeheartly. Not spreading that he's hanging out in the dungeons, also a good idea. Now, proactively launching a campaign of lies does not exactly sit well with me. Secondly, yes, I did in fact get a summons from the diviner, and I do not know what their intention is. In fact, I don't quite know their gender. I seem to have gotten lost along the way. But
I think it's a she, right?
Yeah, you know that this is
that's
a
what
lady.
I thought, but then I
Rilla-
thought that the courier said he, which confused me. But perhaps I just misheard.
If they did, I'll fix it in post.
Okay, fantastic.
So you'll look like an idiot.
Yes. Edit the comment. Right. Edit. Okay. All right. Fantastic.
Probably didn't remember to do that.
But all that to say, I do not know what her intentions are. And quite frankly, we're all getting a bit of a strange vibe out of that looming tower in the distance, right? Like, I'm not just the only one. I know I'm a little close on this one.
We're the ones who made you suspicious to begin with. So yeah, from a story standpoint, this reeks of like a very evil setup. Yeah.
Well,
that's why we're going as your dates.
Yeah.
To scope it out a bit.
Right. So, I don't know. You guys are protagonists. You guys want to maybe join me in a little one-on-one conversation with the diviner. Maybe you might end up having to wait in the lobby. I don't know, but until I'm a little concerned that my sort of X's, sort of not X's, I'm kind of worried I'm walking into a trap, and, maybe you guys want to come?
I'll get my maul.
Yeah, I'll bring you. I'll come too. But I gotta meet with this fashion designer lady
Yeah,
too. So we gotta stop there on the way.
Here we are being extreme again. All right, this is we've come
She's
full
gonna
circle.
make me a beautiful gown.
Yeah, no.
Hector, I met the most wonderful, crazy old lady. It's amazing.
Yeah, it wasn't.
She's gonna make me a gown. She wants to make me a model because I have like shape-shifting abilities. So it's gonna have like a tail, maybe. Who knows?
Hector, by the way,
Have I heard stories of Charissa Lamstrand?
Why don't you roll me a bardic knowledge check, you fucking bard? You greasy bard.
Maybe I'm walking into a trap too.
Why don't I have my bardic knowledge written down? That's stupid. Brian, you're so fucking stupid.
Brian,
Yeah,
get it
Brian.
together.
Bard level plus intelligence mod?
That's the one.
I like playing bards.
That is 14.
The short time you've been in Everspring, you have spent most of your time in the college, which for one means that you, Hector, have not walked about the city proper as often as everyone else. You're not as metropolitan as maybe some of the rest of your party is. But even in the college, you've heard whispers from the more wealthy students of Charissa Lamstrand, the greatest fashion designer in all of Meosha. Very few people wear her stuff. The ones that do are the absolute peak of fashion. And it's
You're gonna say the absolute worst.
No, I said peak and I meant it. I just always, unfortunately, sound a little bit sarcastic, which is great for my relationships. But we don't have to get into that right now. So yeah, Hector, you do know about Charissa Lamstrand. This is elite, top tier, wealthiest of wealthy, high fashion. Yeah. So
This is your chance.
I mean, I'd say don't encourage her, but
I tell him about how the first thing I did is I turned into her. I regale him with that.
it really was a power move. Actually, everybody was enthralled. I had no idea what was going to happen next. It was riveting stuff. And Rilla, I wish you the best. Honestly, I'm sure you'll make a great shape-shifting model. It'll be. I think you guys are destined for each other. There's that destiny again. Always popping up in our lives. Real weird like.
Did you post about it on TikTok?
Well, Hector, your nose is bleeding. I don't know, buddy.
That's why I picked a visual social media app, dummy.
So
it makes sense in the fiction.
So with your day laid out before you, what do you guys do? Ruger's got to meet with the diviner. Rilla's got to go meet this fashion designer.
I would say this is probably where we retcon all the shopping in, maybe, that we haven't done yet.
Sure. Well, I meant
we
which
just-
one. Which one do you want to go to first? Do you want to do the meeting with the diviner, or are we doing the fashion? Your interview to be a supermodel.
Why would I interview? I already got the job.
Wow. You guys really are made for each other.
I can shapeshift and have a charisma of 18. I'm fine.
God. Youthful exuberance.
Well, now I have to make this. Now I have to make this incredibly difficult. So thanks for that.
Yeah, let's do that first.
Now I have to. So yeah, your appointments are spaced out enough that you can all go to both things if you want. Yeah. So
Yeah.
really, you head off to speak with Charissa Lamstrand. Hector.
I wouldn't
and
mind
Ruger-
some moral support, though, because this is a stranger,
For sure. And you got Hector and Ruger. Do you follow along to the fashion designer's boutique?
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's, kind of a legendary figure. I have to meet the characters of stories, when I can.
Real quick, though, as just a point of order, before we leave,
Yeah.
Ruger makes sure to put on nice clean clothing, just all together, not look like I rolled out of a volcano yesterday when I go to meet my ex's new lady friend, okay? I just want to be clear
sure.
that before we meet the fashion designer and the ex's new lady, that I look okay. Thank you.
Oh man, this is the most high pressure scenario for a middle-aged man I could possibly imagine. Hey, let's go to a high fashion art house. Then I'm gonna go talk to my ex-wife's fiance. So what do you wear for that?
And don't
New Balance,
Don't worry.
khakis.
I'll bring a bunch of teenagers with me. It'll be fine. I'm not at all going through a thing. Okay.
I'll bring my new friends who are all teenagers. That's all I hang out with.
Why,
now.
yes, this is a fire sword. No, I will not use it.
It's extra fun because the teenagers are paying you to hang out with them.
Yeah, that's weirdly also weird. Yeah, okay.
These are my friends. You're friends with these people? No, I'm just on the job. I meant.
I was on the clock.
So as you all walk off into the town, dogged by Ruger's midlife crisis, Zurabak, you are at the end of this table in the cafeteria, and you are wolfing down a pile of pancakes as tall as a man. You use your bare hands, I assume, yes?
Yeah.
Fantastic. As you are shoveling this down, Snake curled up beneath you, eating
Beneath
an
me?
entire side. What's up?
He's fuck huge. I don't think he can get under the table.
That's a good point. As Snake coils up massively beside you, getting down an entire side of beef, which has been brought to him in a wheelbarrow, you are carving your way with your bare hands through this giant stack of flapjacks. And across from you, coming slowly into view through the carnage of these pancakes, you see a familiar face. You see Captain Kurz, the incredibly handsome, dapper half-orc paladin, the warrior from the Order of the Quill, seated across from you. He is not decked out in his normal shining silver armor. He is wearing plain clothes, just a plain white shirt and pants, and the top of it, of course, unlaced to reveal some nice chest hair and pectoral muscle, if you're into that kind of thing. I've never asked, and I don't assume. He looks at you and picks up a knife and fork and says, "You know, Zurabak, I paid these cooks to stay here and get this extra equipment to feed you. Let's see if we can really get our money's worth. I challenge you." And they put down a big stack of flapjacks in front of him, and all the students around you just go, oh my God, and start passing bets back and forth. And that is where we will end.
Yay. Yay. Spirited competition.
Hello and welcome to As the Dice Turns, the podcast after the podcast, where we take a deep dive into our player characters' frustrations, motivations, characterizations, and try to get a better understanding of them as people. In this part of the show, we like to ask each of our players a question and see if we can unearth some deeper truth about them. The question for today is, how would your enemies describe you? All of our protagonists here have done battle with forces great and small, and have left no small amount of enemies in their wake. I'm curious to see what our protagonists think their enemies see when they look at them. Let's go ahead and get started here with Rilla Longshadow. Rilla, welcome back to the studio. Always good to see you.
It's great to see you too, host. Why do you always start with me? Is it because I'm the least stressful of your group? Or are you just trying to make Zurabak last? Because I get that, I think.
I mean, I do always want Zurabak to go last because, I I try to stay away from him for as long as I possibly can. Honestly, Rilla, your answers are just the most interesting. Don't tell anyone else I said that. But, like, Hector's got the Labrador Retriever thing going, and Ruger's a sad boy. And I understand both of those archetypes very well. But you, Rilla, are an enigma. And I just want to know your answers to these questions. Is that okay? Is that weird?
That's fine. I thought it was because Zerback was so filthy, no one wanted to go after him because of the grime and, everything.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I just don't want you to be exposed to that. Who's to say? In any case, the question for today, Rilla Longshadow, is how would your enemies describe you?
Well, let's see. My enemies, huh? Let's see. Their favorite complaints, probably impertinent, rash, ruining the tribe, childish. What else do they like to call me? Selfish? They call me selfish a lot, for sure.
Okay, so I'm what I'm getting from this is that by enemies, you mean the elves that you grew up with.
I mean, the ones I grew up with were fine. I'm specifically meaning the elders. But yes.
Gotcha.
They're my sworn enemies.
Understood. So in your mind, they would describe you as rash and impetuous and bad for the tribe. In what way?
Oh, host. In my mind, you don't think they voiced all this? It's so sweet.
Forgive me. I spoke out of turn there. I'm curious, when you say bad for the tribe, I thought they valued you for your magical powers.
Yeah, they valued me for my magical powers, but they also were mad at me because, I didn't want to do the magic for them. So, I was selfish.
Sounds like some hardcore guilt tripping to me. Gaslighting even, you might say.
Yeah.
Well, I guess specifically for the purpose of answering this question, it's good that you had so clear an answer, but in every other possible context, that's just the worst, and I'm sorry to hear it.
Well, you just never trust anybody over 600, right?
I've certainly never been put in that situation myself, so yes, absolutely. Never. I've never known anyone that old, so I can say for sure that I've never trusted anybody over 600.
Well, don't start now.
Okay. Understood. Well, Rilla, that's a great answer. We certainly appreciate your honesty. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
And then I leave.
All right. That's funny. You guys never... That's the first time I think any of you have ever announced that. And then I leave. I think we usually just go on to the next one. But I like that you put that in there, like, and by the way...
Sometimes I skateboard out of here. Today I just walk.
Only when you're wearing your sunglasses and backwards cap. Next up, we have Ruger Firehide. Ruger, it's a pleasure to see you again. How are you, sir?
Peachy Keen hosts, batting 1,000 or, par 18, some sort of sports analogy that I completely get inserted here, right? Sharon will take care of it in post. Don't worry.
I'm glad to hear that everything is going well for you, that you're in a good mood. We have the potential to get a little dark again here, Mr. Firehide, but the question for today is, how would your enemies describe you? I'm sure someone with a long history of battling the forces of evil and chasing down criminals. I'm sure you've made quite the laundry list of enemies in your time. I'm curious, how would your enemies describe you?
Well, the literal answer is as Firehide. I mean, it's not actually my name. It's a moniker of sorts. So, mainly Firehide. But to your point, I would probably guess that they would, consider me to be tenacious, dogged in my pursuits. Got a bit of a grudge, a little bit. Chip on the old shoulder, as they say. But, fair, rarely make them bleed too much, and by the end of it, I bring them back for the justice of, greater folk beyond myself. So, fair, I guess.
So almost like a grudging respect in a lot of these cases in your dealings with the criminal element.
Well, sometimes. I mean, obviously, depends on the offense. I've seen some unforgivable things out there, and not everybody comes back alive, host. But it is the intention, wherever possible. And yeah, there's plenty of people who just take a step or two down the wrong path, and a little course correction is all they need.
Well, it's very obvious why your enemies would consider you to be implacable. I think that's fairly consistent. I was very curious to find that the criminal element gave you that nickname, Firehide. That wasn't something that you dreamed up. That was something that the criminal element came up with themselves?
Yeah, of a sorts. There was a little stretch where I was hunting a gang for a while, and I, one after another, brought them to justice, and over that period of time, some of the gang members, took to calling me Firehide, describing me as some sort of, blistered skin demon that was hunting them across all of Meosha. And at the end of it all, when the last one stood there on the gallows, he screamed again and again and again, Firehide. And the name took.
Well, that's quite the backstory for that little nickname. It is fitting, and I'm sure it strikes terror into the hearts of criminals everywhere. That's a great answer, Ruger. Very revealing. I certainly appreciate that.
Yep. My pleasure as always. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna skateboard out of here. Ow! Oh, God!
Sharon, where are they getting these fucking skateboards?
My hip!
Sharon, the fucking skateboard. Where are they getting them? Are you giving them skateboards? Don't give them skateboards, Sharon. Anyway, next up we've got Hektor the Gatekeeper, Keeper of the Gates. Hektor, how are you today?
I'm doing well.
Well, Hektor, the question for today is, how would your enemies describe you?
How would my enemies describe me? Well, I know that you see me as nothing but a endlessly caring, humble, beautiful, just all-around nice guy. But it may surprise you, my fighting style can best be described as something similar to if you get blackout drunk and then you wake up covered in blood. It's kind of like that.
Well, Hektor, that sounds horrifying. Are you talking about your barbarian rage?
I am talking about my barbarian rage.
Where you are overcome by a primal fury that allows you to swing a hammer that I'll just say is the size of a beer keg into people's heads.
Yes. Yes.
So your enemies would describe you as ferocious, maybe? Brutal?
Terrifying. The worst thing they've ever faced. Those sorts of things.
Crippling.
Which again may surprise you given how personable I am and charming and all of that.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, the damage you've managed to do to some of the creatures in your adventures has been monumental and messy, I think, a lot of times.
By design.
And I think we've talked about how sometimes that's gotten you into trouble. But, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Hektor, you are one person. I mean, I personally wouldn't fight anyone on the battlefield, but Hektor, I would not want to face you on the battlefield at all. I think that's a great answer and a great...
No, you wouldn't.
Thank you very much, Hektor. We certainly appreciate your time.
And I skateboard out of there.
Yeah, I know you do. Yeah. There's so many skateboards in here. Last but not least, we have, let's see if I can remember all these. Zurabak, King of the Shocker Lizards, Champion of the Goats, Emperor of the Rats, and now Duke of the Island of Niho. Is that all of them, Zurabak?
I think it was a barony, but, whatever.
Interesting. I wouldn't have thought you could make that distinction. I'm honestly flabbergasted and slightly delighted. It shows a understanding of nobility that I thought a little bit past you.
Them's fighting words.
Okay, well let me just stop saying those words then. I'll say these words instead. Zurabak, the question for today is, I can't wait to hear the answer to this. How would your enemies describe you?
Probably not very well.
I think that's fair to say. Now, do you mean that they would not be able to eloquently express what you look like, or that they would describe you as a bad person?
Most of them are dead.
Your enemies would do a bad job describing you because they're not alive to describe you, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely plays. Yeah, I guess you're not the type of person to leave people around to talk shit.
Yep.
Well, if you happened to leave some of them alive, what do you think they'd say about you?
I think the fire scaredy cats call me unburned or something.
The unburned. Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't really listening to them. I was trying to get their leader to drink lava.
Yes, you were definitely trying to get their leader to drink lava. I'm sure you'll get them next time. The unburned, though, that's a catchy little nickname. And I guess that's a solid answer to the question. I guess when you survive the flames of a lava pit of your own creation, that goes to build your rep a little bit. All right, well, Zurabak, thank you so much for that answer. We definitely appreciate your time. There's a pile of skateboards in the corner if you want to just skate right out of here.
Don't worry, Snake's got one. He's been doing tricks all day.
Jesus Christ, is that a kickflip? He doesn't have legs. Sharon, he doesn't have legs.
He's a very good snake.
Yeah, he is. Thank you so much for listening to As the Dice Turns, a podcast after the podcast. Oh my God, a pop shove it? Holy shit. Sharon and I thank you so much for listening to the show. And until next time, keep those dice turning. It's a radical snake. Hey there, dear listener. Sam the DM here, checking in with the credits at the end of the show. Music for Challenge Rating 0 is provided by the dreaded harp wolf, Danielle Taylor-Williams. You can find more of her work at danielletaylorharp.bandcamp.com. She has an album available called Why Are We Surprised When Seasons Change that you have to check out. It's just the best. Additional music for the show is provided by Justin Ra. You can find more of his work at justinra.com, including schedules for upcoming performances. He has an album out called Age of the Spirit, which is a real banger as well. Challenge Rating 0 is edited by Matthew Sims, aka Audius Prime. If you'd like to secure his services for your very own self, you can go to audiusprime.com to find ways to get in touch with him. We're very thankful for the work he does on the show. We want to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Apotheosis Comics and Lounge. Once again, you can go to shopapotheosis.com to check out their amazing nerd swag, and I highly recommend you check out one of their locations, either on South Grand or on Cherokee Street. That's shopapotheosis.com. Check them out. Tell them we sent you. Boy, does that make us look good. If you want to reach out to us here at Challenge Rating 0, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Challenge Rating 0. You can find us on Twitter at challenge_ZERO. If you'd like to email us, you can reach us at challengerating0@gmail.com. If anyone has any questions for As the Dice Turn segment, please go ahead and send those in. Any questions we receive will be read on air. You can hold our protagonist's feet to the fire. If you would like to support our show yourself, we do have a Patreon. It's patreon.com patreon.com/CR_ZERO. We've got a bonus episode on there with the host from As the Dice Turn segment. There's also a free track by Danielle on there as well if you're interested. And if you don't want to support us fungibly, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, maybe tell a friend about the show and how much you enjoy it. Give us a couple downloads. And if you wanted to leave us a review on whatever podcast application you happen to be using, that would be a huge help for us as well. We very much appreciate your ears, taking the time to stop by and listen to our little show here. Every single fan we have is, just an absolute blessing, and we really appreciate y'all out there, giving us the time of day. Do apologize for this one being late. We had some tech issues, and I unfortunately had some personal stuff come up. I'm kind of burning my candle at several ends, chasing down projects, but that's neither here nor there. We will be back on our normal grind here very shortly. And thank you so much for listening, folks. Bye.